Hello, let's discuss plot. There are 6 main elements to the plot. First, the exposition. Second, the inciting incident. Third, the rising action. Fourth, the climax. Fifth, the falling action. And finally, number 6 is the resolution. Plot is the storyline or sequence of events that take place in a story. It is the order in which events occur in a way that makes sense. It is what happens in a story. All fictional stories have a plot, and all plots have a conflict and a resolution. Let's look at an example of the 3 Little Pigs. In the exposition, we learn that 3 little pigs leave home for the first time. The inciting incident is that the big bad wolf comes looking for the pigs. Event number 1 in the rising action is that pig number 1 builds a house of straw. Event number 2, the big bad wolf blows house down and eats pig number 1. Event number 3, pig number 2 builds house of wood. Event number 4, big bad wolf blows house down and eats pig number 2. Event number 5, pig number 3 builds house of brick. Event number 6, the big bad wolf can't blow down brick house. Event number 7, wolf tries to trick pig number 3 to come out of the house. During the climax, the wolf gets frustrated and jumps down the chimney to get pig number 3. During the falling action, the wolf falls into the boiling pot over the fire, and the resolution is that pig number 3 cooks and eats the big bad wolf for revenge. Let's look at each story element individually. In the exposition, we get the introductory material, which often creates the tone. It gives the setting, introduces the characters, and supplies other facts necessary for understanding. It may include an inciting moment, which sets in motion the rising action. The rising action. Things get complicated. It begins with the inciting moment, gains interest or power as the opposing groups or ideas come into conflict, and proceeds to the climax. The climax. This is when the main character comes face to face with the conflict. Change happens. Usually a big event or a decision is made by the main character. The rising action concludes and reverses to begin the falling action. The falling action follows the climax and often exhibits the winding down of the climax. Resolution. The end of the falling action and the solution of the conflict. The resolution is not always a happy ending. It may include an explanation of all the secrets and misunderstandings connected with the plot, the tying up of loose ends, exposure of a villain, clearing up a mistaken identity, reuniting characters, etc. Since every story has a plot, you can track every story on Freytag's Pyramid. Short stories, narrative poems, novels, the entire novel, beginning to end, or individual chapters, which have their own subplots, narrative essays, autobiographical incidents. Of course, keep in mind, some stories change the order for excitement. They may reverse some parts, have flashbacks, or even skip the falling action. Regardless, all of the parts remain in the whole picture. This applies to both fiction and nonfiction. Let's race to the top of the plot mountain. For review, the exposition. This part gives background info on the characters and the setting. The inciting moment hints at the big problem in the story. The rising action. These events build up the story and lead up to the big event or decision that changes the story's direction. This part includes the conflict. The climax is the turning point. This is when the main character comes face to face with the conflict. Change happens. The falling action. This part tells what happens after the big event or decision. The resolution. What happens when it's all over?